How concerned should these Raiders be about AB?
I think not too concerned. And the reason I say that is, look, I know a lot of people are high on the Raiders for some reason this year, right? Including our own Louis Riddick. And that makes me pay attention because Louis Riddick gets a lot of stuff right. And he's paying close attention. I don't see it. I think the Raiders are set up to move to Vegas. I think that's when the pressure starts. Now you have AB. Whatever you want to say about Antonio Brown, he's a distraction, he's this, he's that. And I agree, like, when your coach is giving you a speech to stay off social media and you are putting that speech on social media, that's one of the great, hilarious, ironic moments in, like, a modern American sports history, right? But AB knows how to get himself ready to play. Whatever else you want to say about him, you and I had this conversation when I was fretting about Odell Beckham Jr. dropping passes in the playoffs. And you were saying one of Odell's problems is not that he doesn't care, he cares too much. A dude like Antonio Brown does not care. And it actually makes him better in these situations. He's not going to let pressure from other people affect him to rush himself back. He'll know how to get himself ready. The Raiders have a lot invested in him. They'll let him get himself ready. I think he'll be fine.
I agree. I don't think there's anything to be – this is not a conversation, right? Antonio Brown is a professional. He's done this for a number of years. He's prepared his body and got ready for every season that he's been in the NFL. So this is a non-starter for me. I do agree with you. I think Louis Riddick is probably one of the most influential and intellectual people in this sphere, in this realm. And so I have to take that with a grain of salt too, right? Because I do believe he has some credit there. But I think this is not a conversation.
Right. So here's why it's a conversation for me, because even in speaking about AB not caring, I've been around him enough to know I watched him grow as a player. The one thing he cares about is the actual work. Right, actually getting on the field, getting an opportunity to get reps. This is a dude who, his first day at OTAs, and you know how OTAs go, Doug. His first day at OTAs, he runs a punt back during the special teams drill all the way to the end zone. Right, all the vets on the side, we say, hey, man, by the end of the season, he won't be doing that. We're preparing for the Super Bowl against the Green Bay Packers. It's kickoff return day. He catches the kickoff in the end zone, runs it back 100 yards, jogs back so he can get his next rep. You see him countless times during Steelers training camp going against Artie Burns and these different cornerbacks trying to get these reps. What scares me is I know he wants to work. And if I hear sore feet, and sore feet is keeping him out, then Antonio Brown, I know, doesn't handle a conversation like, look, if your feet are hurting, won't you take the day off? And he says, okay, cool, I'm going to sit here. So I feel like there has to be an issue there that needs to be taken care of. The other part of it is, too, the way that John Gruden just loves this guy, right, and wants to touch on him and rub on him and say how great he is and, oh, let's hug and all be together and do this. They're staking this season on the fact that Antonio Brown is going to be Antonio Brown. He's already shown that he doesn't believe in Derek Carr. Right? And the only thing that's going to help Derek Carr be great is if Williams comes over from Los Angeles and he plays well. And if Antonio Brown is the Antonio Brown that we've known for years, and if there is a problem, if there is some chemistry that's off, if there is his feet are hurting him a little bit, and he can't get in and out of cuts like he used to, Doug, because you know it's not the Julio game, right? It's not the DeAndre Hopkins game where I'm covered every play and I just catch it because I got 3X gloves on. Right. Antonio's game is predicated on getting in and out of cuts, right? Being deceptive, being able to stem routes, right? Set up leverage on defensive backs and get out of those breaks faster than those DBs can.
Hold up one second. You think everybody's out on Derek Carr?
I think everybody in Oakland is out on Derek Carr. I don't think that from the outside looking in, you look at him as a guy who doesn't have the talent to do the job, right? We saw him be an MVP candidate until he was injured a couple of years back. But when you look at the way John Gruden treats Derek Carr, that's not the way that franchise quarterbacks are treated.
But isn't that I don't understand, why do you bring AB in if not to find out about the quarterback? Right? Like, right. You're finding out about Derek Carr.
That's why he needs to be out there. And what I'm saying is not even about finding out about Derek Carr. You bring in Antonio Brown to say, prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that Derek Carr cannot do it.
By the way, you're convincing me with this argument, because the one thing about AB, for all the kind of differences in his personality, say to a guy like Jerry Rice was never viewed as the most talented guy. Neither is Antonio Brown, most talented guy. But Jerry Rice's work ethic was legend, and he put up numbers no one else has. Antonio Brown is putting up the best numbers, basically, since Jerry Rice, and he's doing it with the same legendary work ethic, right? So that does give me a little pause when I'm thinking about when that guy has an injury to a lower extremity and you need your feet to run, given that work ethic, isn't that an issue?
Yeah, but okay, so 2 points here. I think first and foremost, you talk about the legendary work ethic of Antonio Brown. So why does that not translate to when he's injured, right? If he's going to face adversity and these obstacles, why does that not translate to him overcoming this adversity and obstacles? So that's number one. Number two, I think it's irresponsible if it's true that the Raiders organization is not sold on Derek Carr. I think that's irresponsible, right? You brought in Antonio Brown. Why? To your point, right? You're trying to see about the quarterback. So I think if that is the case, that's irresponsible. I know it's a different conversation, but to the point of Antonio Brown, if we're going to talk about his work ethic and we're talking about the man that he's been since he's been in the NFL,
100%.
then why can't we say that about the adversity that he's going to face? You know?
See, I'm not saying that he can't overcome the adversity. What I'm saying is it scares me that there's anything that we are considering small, right, or minute that's keeping him from practice in a situation where he understands he has to practice. You can say whatever
You're saying
you
it might
want
be
to.
more serious than we think. Because this guy's going to want to be out there more
because
than
he's going to
anybody.
want to work, right?
Yeah.
And when you bring him in, like you said, and it may be irresponsible to be out on Derek Carr, but we've seen the Oakland Raiders do irresponsible things as an organization time and time again, right? And the way that I feel like the way that Derek Carr was treated, not only on the sidelines but publicly post game, was also irresponsible because you know and I know quarterbacks are handled in a different way. And when you view a guy as a franchise quarterback, you see him as being a part of the organization longer than anybody else, right? Franchise quarterbacks stay around through coaches, right? Through GMs. And to treat a guy that way lets me know how you value him, right? How you feel about him. Now, you bring Antonio Brown in to see if Derek Carr is your guy. Well, you got to get him out there to practice. And I know Antonio Brown understands that. So if there's something that's making Antonio Brown say, you know what, right now, I just can't be out there. And I agree with you when you talk about that adversity and coming back from this injury, Antonio Brown's going to be fine.
Right.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.